Hello and welcome to Hare Investigations. I'm your host, Anna Rucco. The Strange Conundrum of the Strangeman's Cabin. Strangeman Series Part 4. The Writings. In this episode of the Strangeman's Cabin series, we will highlight the different writings located in the cabin. The writings refer to people, locations, and events from RDR2 and RDR1. As we did in the episode on paintings, let's see if we can explain and match them together if we can. A very special thank you to RJ from Chippy Commentaries for providing footage of RDR1 for me to use. From the Snow to the Cave. This is a reference to the story mode experience from the beginning of Chapter 1 to the end of Chapter 6, which starts in Coulter and ends at the cave in Beaver Hollow. A lot of people believe this is a reference to Arthur's journey. However, this could also be referring to John Marston's journey. When Arthur and Charles are sent to find John, he is near death from an animal attack and is also suffering from a gunshot wound received during the Blackwater Massacre. The strange man references this bullet wound when you meet him in RDR1. Could it be that the strange man started watching John because he was so close to death and survived, almost like he cheated death? It's also interesting that Chapter 1 starts with John near death and being saved by Arthur, and Chapter 6 ends with John being saved by Arthur sacrificing himself. So from this we know that the strange man is watching someone's journey from the beginning to the end, which may be a reference to the old saying, from the cradle to the grave, which means from the beginning of life until the end of life.
She was a girl Dutch Vanderlyn shot in the head on that raid on the ferry a few years back. Same one you got shot on.
I gave everything for art, and I learned too much and nothing at all. I went over the various paintings in the shack in my last video, and I think this is tied to them. The strange man spent a lot of time painting the various paintings, and some of the paintings kept changing based on your current honor level. The strange man was constantly watching you and the choices you were making. In RDR1, during the second mission for the strange man, he mentions how John could kill so easily yet still hold the vows of marriage so high. Good choice. The strange man seems confused about these two conflicting moral points that John has.
You kill people so easily, yet you respect the vows of marriage. That's very curious.
I know you. This is the name of the mission when you first meet the strange man in RDR1. Now, the first time John meets the strange man is in 1911 in RDR1, and we find this in the strange man's cabin in 1899 in RDR2. So once again, this is 12 years before meeting him in person. One of the paintings in episode 3 is of the exact place you find the strange man to start this mission. As you approach the strange man, he says, "I know who you are, Marston."
I know who you are, Marston.
The water is black with venom. There are several things this could be referring to. Also taking note that this writing is behind the strange man's painting on the back wall. It sits between two of the ever-changing morality paintings. So let's take a look at all the ideas. The water being polluted with cholera in Armadillo. The Blackwater Massacre and the blood spilled. The Blackwater Massacre in 1899 started RDR2, and John getting off the steamboat in Blackwater in 1911 started RDR1. So the citizens of Blackwater would have hatred, venom, towards John. The journey of John Marston beginning in Blackwater and ending with a mission called American Venom in the epilogue. Also, it could be referencing St. Denis and its pollution. Mangy animals can be found within and in the outskirts of the city. Players can also fish in the polluted pond in the southwest of the city, but all the fish are poisonous. At the far southwest of the city, just south of the bridge, is two pipes that empty into the river. The water around them is covered in oil, making them black. To the left of the door is an end table with a poem about Jimmy Brooks, chronicling either his death or survival, depending on whether or not Arthur saves or kills him. This is interesting because this encounter is the first morality choice that Arthur has in story mode. So this means that Arthur's moral choices, as well as John Marston's choices, are being closely watched by the strange man in some fashion or another. I find it interesting that the last line of the "If You Killed Jimmy" poem is vague in Jimmy's outcome. It doesn't say that his family will never see him again, just that they don't see him very much. This could lead one to speculate that his family only gets to see him when they go to his gravesite, or maybe when he's not working for the Strangeman. Be sure to check out my Jimmy Brooks video for a more in-depth look into this character. The moon will shine on in the darkness. This is a reference to Herbert Moon, who lives in the town of Armadillo. From 1899 to 1911, the town suffered from scarlet fever, desert plague, typhus, and finally cholera. Herbert Moon was the only member of the town to seemingly be unaffected by all the various diseases. I offered you happiness or 2 generations. You made your choice. This is a reference to the deal made by Herbert Moon with the Strangeman. He could have had happiness or 2 generations. With the birth of his daughter and granddaughter, we know he chose 2 generations. His final toll will sound my greatest coming. This is a reference to the cholera outbreak in Armadillo, which is the last disease outbreak in the town. There is a town crier ringing a bell with pamphlets warning people about the cholera, with many of the townsfolk seen to be either dead or gravely ill. This is the last disease outbreak in the town and claimed the most lives. The moon will shine on in the darkness. His final toll will sound my greatest coming. I offered you happiness or 2 generations. You made your choice. We know these 3 are tied together by Herbert Moon and the various diseases in Armadillo. I will investigate these separately later on. After investigating the writings and making more connections, it appears that the writings tell several different stories. The Strangeman was keeping cryptic notes about events. With the future dated newspaper articles, paintings of places he would be in the future, and now these cryptic writings of more events, the image of the Strangeman is starting to take a more solid form. The mystery is starting to become clear in the Strangeman Cabin series.